We come, cool, collect. Can we finish the intro? Okay. Hey guys, Erin here with Southern Girl Exotics. Welcome back to my channel. I'm pretty excited about this video. I think it's going to be an interesting and fun video. I certainly hope it's going to be a helpful video. So I wanted to do this video on some beginner tips for new hobbyists. And I'm not talking about tips that just give you like little hacks of animal care and husbandry or to make your life easier in that aspect. I'm talking about overall mistakes or regrets that I have. Things I, one, wish I either didn't do, or two, regrets that I have that nobody warned me to stay away or do these things differently, and I had to learn the hard way. I don't care who you are in the hobby. If you have more than 5 minutes in the hobby, you probably have a mistake you've made or a regret you've made that you wish you would have known better ahead of time. So this is going to have some aspects that you absolutely can apply to being a better reptile keeper for your animals, but it's mainly going to be directed about making your experience in the hobby a little more smooth, a little more enjoyable. I don't know who is watching, so I don't necessarily know who this relates to, but for me in general, there are things that have happened during my course in this hobby that have made me turn my nose up at certain communities. It's made me lose my passion for certain species. And when I look back now, there's things that I wish I could have done differently or had different experiences with because they ruined a really exciting and passionate part of this hobby for me. So anyways, I hope some people can relate. If you can't, I promise you, hang around a little bit and don't follow these tips and you will probably have some negative experiences that you wish that you didn't. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely give it a thumbs up. If you are new here and haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you are not new here and you are supporting the channel and already subscribed, thank you for being here. Allie Bear, can we just chill for a minute? I know you don't like being on camera. I know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video and I will see you at the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. All right, guys, tip number 1. Buy from a reputable breeder. What does reputable mean? Reputable does not mean popular. Reputable doesn't mean they have longevity in the industry and they have been selling reptiles for a long time. Just because you've managed to hang around for 20 years doesn't mean you've earned it, doesn't mean that you are a reputable or ethical breeder. So what does reputable mean? What do we mean when we say reputable? Reputable breeders are going to be people that genuinely care for their animals. They love the species they're working with. They are going to have healthy, balanced animals that their nutritional needs are being met. They're going to have clean and adequate caging for these animals. A lot of times social media can be tricky because of course we're all always going to show the best. We're not going to show the downside or the unrealistic side or the side that could possibly throw us under the bus. Do not be misleading or irrational and think that every breeder is a good breeder is going to have a spotless reptile room. What you are looking for though, when you are watching a reputable breeder and you're vetting them by their social media, is you are looking for filth. Cages that are, you can tell, have not been cleaned for weeks, and you can see the feces, you can see the animals look sickly, thin, not cared for, stuck shed. You're looking for, sometimes I have seen people literally share videos where the paper towels in their hatchling bins have started to disintegrate from the urine and the poop absorbing into them, and of course the larvae and maggots that come out of the poop start eating the paper towels. So you are looking for filth. You are looking for things that absolutely, without a doubt, tell you this is not a reputable breeder. Reptile expos are wonderful as well. Reptile expos, you can see the animals in person. You can see the breeders in person. How a person carries themselves is going to give you great insight into how they most likely care for their reptiles. You want one that has good customer service, not just somebody that's going to be good with the animals, but somebody that is going to be good with you. If you find a breeder that is not willing to take the time and answer your questions and guarantee that the animal they are about to sell you is in great care, or that after they sell it to you, they're not willing to take the time to make sure that your questions and needs are met so that the animals continue to be in great care, that is probably not a reputable breeder. Morph Market, regardless how you feel about Morph Market is an amazing avenue for you to vet reputable breeders. You can look at reviews. You can look at also how they respond to reviews. Not every breeder responds to reviews. I respond to every one of my reviews, knock on wood. I have never had a negative, thank God, but if I did, I would still respond to it, and I would try to respond it compassionately and appropriately. Having reputable breeders sell you animals is going to give you the best options at having a good introduction into reptile keeping. And this is not something just intro into reptile keeping. This is going to make your experience overall, no matter how long you stick around, more pleasurable with less financial loss as well as less stress. All right, guys, tip number 2. Do not overbuy early on in your reptile keeping journey. This is a huge biggie that a lot of us do, and this falls under one of those trends that we see that we all jump on board with. When you start impulse buying or growing your collection to massive numbers early on, you quickly find yourself overwhelmed, financially stressed, and in a position that it can quickly make it an unenjoyable experience. Don't get me wrong, I understand how exciting and exhilarating it is to own exotics. They are just fun and unique, and not everybody has them. They're fun to show off, especially if you have like friends and neighbors that just have cats and dogs. There's so much fun. It is super fun to add a new animal and interact with it, and then the new wears off and it's like, okay, now I've got another mouth to feed, another animal I'm cleaning up poop after, etc., etc. So if this is not one that everybody can relate to, I know a lot of people can relate to this. All right, tip number 3. This is a big one and probably one from left field. People don't really acknowledge how toxic this can be to your experience in this industry. Stay off the Facebook forums. I don't care what the rules are to whatever the group is, whatever the name of the group is. No bullying, no being nasty, no fighting. I do not care what species it is. You open yourself up to some real toxicity when you join these Facebook forums and interact with them. I see the most innocent post from keepers just desperately, 1, wanting to connect with the community, or 2, just asking for help. Not because they're bad keepers, not because they're abusive keepers, but because they genuinely are just ignorant. They don't know what they're doing is wrong. They don't know what is going on with their animal. Or again, they just want to relate to the community, so they're sharing something that they totally didn't think was going to turn into what it did once they shared it. The Facebook forums can be toxic, and it can absolutely change your entire outlook on the hobby, the community, the animals. It's done it to me. What else can you do? If you can't utilize these Facebook forums and you have questions or concerns about your animals, what can you do? Again, you can search in the search bar if you want to be a part of those groups. If you are going to post in those groups, you better have thick skin. Also, you need to be very careful with posting pictures. You may think, I'm going to post a picture of my lizard because I don't want the post to get lost. Well, I can promise you there are going to be people that are microscopically looking at your picture to find something to dog you about. I would recommend not posting a picture, but if you are going to post a picture so you don't get lost, you absolutely need to make sure you have looked at that picture several times. Third option, reach out to a breeder. You can look on those posts, you can read some of the comments, you can see who is genuinely trying to give valid information and be respectful and really help the species and the people asking. You can also always ask your favorite breeders that you follow. Most breeders are going to take the time with you as long as you don't abuse that. 9 times out of 10, a good breeder is going to help you, as well as you don't run a risk when you send them pictures. If you send them a picture and your setup's not right, they're not going to belittle you and embarrass you. They may tell you things you don't like you're doing it wrong or you need to do it this way, but you have to be open-minded to that. So that is on you if you can't handle that type of criticism coming from a single person in a private DM. That is strictly a you problem. But for the most part, unless you really want to put yourself out there, stay away from the Facebook forums. All right, 2 more tips for you guys, and this is number 4. You don't have to breed. Breeding does not have to be a part of everybody's journey in the reptile hobby. Again, this is one of those trends that we all jump on, and it almost seems like it's a have to. I got into reptiles, everybody breeds them, I'm going to breed them too. And there's a ton of different reasons why we do that, whether you want to have a way to connect with the community, you want to find some relevance in your own self, so you think that this is a way that is going to make you be seen or popular among the community. Whatever the reason is for you, I promise you, it does not have to be a part of your journey. So this is, for me, a very important topic. And if you want to find a different niche that you can get into to try to make yourself relevant or to contribute, there are so many things like working on ways to add to enclosures. Like if you want to build ledges or build hides that are functional and make reptile keeping easier, that's a great avenue to consider getting into. Backboards, backgrounds in enclosures, building those, inserts, things like that you can make money at and still have a presence in the reptile hobby. Those are great. Even rescuing animals are great. The many animals that need rehomed or are being thrown away because people grew their collections or they picked up animals impulsively and they don't want them anymore. There are tons of rescues out there. And rescue, at least with running a rescue, you can grow your animal collection slowly and you can stop when you are at your max. If you've got 5 cages you can care for at a time, you stop at 5 cages. Once you start breeding animals, they're dropping eggs. You don't get a choice. I mean, you could freeze the eggs, you could destroy the eggs, but that's a lot of stress to put an animal through, breeding and laying, so that you can just throw away their eggs. So nonetheless, this I think is a biggie, and I promise you, if you just pump the brakes on jumping into breeding and wait a couple years, enjoy the hobby, enjoy the species you're working with, and then decide if that's really an avenue you want to get into, when there's so many other things you can do to contribute, then I say go for it. Can we just take a little look at this baby right here for a minute? Look how beautiful that animal is. That is probably my favorite production from this year. Look at that beautiful baby. You're so pretty. Yes, you are so pretty. All right, guys, tip number 5, and this is a big one: remaining teachable. This comes with great cost. We have to swallow our egos. We have to acknowledge our skill level when it comes to the different species and caring for them. This falls with being humble and accepting that we're going to get constructive criticism because we don't know everything. And that is huge on making sure that you are having the best experience keeping reptiles, as well as your animals are having the best experience in your care. If you've ever talked to me for any length of time in my DMs and you're a beginner, that is one thing I always encourage beginners to do, and that is to remain teachable. I don't know everything. If I don't know something, I will certainly tell you, and I will try to refer you to somebody that does. And I appreciate that there are people in my life in this hobby that are the same way. They're not just going to feed me some bullshit because they just want to act like they know what they're talking about. If they're unsure, they are aware enough on their skill level and on their experience with a certain species to tell me they don't know. They don't know, but there's somebody that possibly can. And then I have to be open to that criticism. If I reach out and I ask somebody, what am I doing wrong? Or why is my animal behaving this way or responding this way to something I changed? I've got to be open to the fact that somebody is going to tell me I'm doing something wrong. There is something that needs to be tweaked, and I don't have all the answers. A lot of what we know about these animals is based on what we learn watching them in captivity in our homes, which is a totally different element. So we're constantly learning, and it's okay. It's okay not to know. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to do it wrong. It's okay to make a mistake. As long as you are remaining teachable and going to change, willing to change whatever it is you're falling short on, nobody can say anything against that. And I promise you, you will find yourself having an amazing experience in reptile keeping if you can keep that in the back of your mind. All right, guys, so those are my 5 tips for beginners. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I truly believe if you follow 1, 2, 5, any of these tips and all of these tips, you will have a much smoother transition into reptile keeping. And if you don't, at least you've been warned and you know what to expect, and maybe you can handle it a little better. Because I promise you, what I mentioned happens for the majority of us. So it's important that we recognize it, because these are some things that can absolutely change your entire outlook on this industry. And I don't want that. I want people to enjoy keeping reptiles and have the best experience possible when it comes to these amazingly cool little animals. There's nothing else in the world like some of them, and you truly miss out when we allow people or certain situations to overwhelm us and take away the good things in life. And keeping exotics is definitely one of the good things in life. If you like the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Definitely drop in the comments any regrets or mistakes you've made along the way, or things you just wish you would have known ahead of time that could have maybe warped your perception of the industry or the hobby in general. But I'd love to hear your experiences. If you do not follow, or if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you, again, are subscribed and have continued to support the channel, thank you very much for your support. I am super proud of, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by the shed on him. It is going to drive me crazy until I soak him and get it off. Anyways, I am super proud of myself. I am getting pretty consistent with dropping content. So hopefully this is a good sign that 2024, I'm going to continue to be on my A game and drop some good content for you guys. And at least if it's not good, it'll be consistent. So y'all will have something for entertainment, regardless if it's good or not. But have an amazing week. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next week.
You